Hi, I'm Jules, and I'm a 27-year-old college professor and PhD student. Today we have a class to teach, so it's going to be a pretty busy day. The first thing I like to do is make my bed. It helps me feel very accomplished and productive first thing in the morning. And then I like to go in with this hypochlorous acid spray and spray it all over my face instead of washing my face since I have normal to dry skin. Then I want to open the blinds to let some light in, and this also helps me to wake up even further. Then I do all my bathroom business like using the toilet, brushing my teeth, and then getting ready for the day with my makeup routine. Most of the makeup that I'm using are Filipino branded, so I got them from the Philippines. I also uploaded a makeup tutorial using Filipino makeup brands, so I will link that down below, but I have been obsessed with these makeup products recently. I like to keep my makeup pretty simple because I don't want to take too long to get ready, and also because it's been very hot and humid recently. Since I got a ton of makeup from the Philippines, I've really just been enjoying playing around with the makeup. But I do really like this makeup look because it's very simple, very light, very minimal, and it's perfect for teaching. When I recorded this entire routine without all the cuts, it took about 12 minutes to do this entire makeup routine. So I think that's the perfect amount of time that I would spend to do my makeup and get ready for the morning. I feel like any longer would just be too much and I would eventually get tired of it. Now it is time to get dressed. I love figuring out what to wear as a college professor. It really forces me to get creative because I don't want to compromise my style just because I'm in a teaching position. I really just want to express who I am through my clothes, but doing so appropriately. I also post outfit of the days as a college professor on my TikTok at trulyjules with two Y's. This is what I wore on my first day of class. I did want to make a YouTube video that particular week, the first week of class, but it was just such a hectic week. I also want to keep the jewelry pretty minimal. Like I said, it's been pretty warm outside. And then I'm gonna spray some perfume all over my clothes. This is Vanilla Potion, which I purchased, I believe, at Marshall's. Now it's time to make some brunch. I have been obsessed with these high protein cottage cheese bagels. So we're gonna bake some bagels. This is a very easy recipe that I found on TikTok. So you're just gonna need 1 cup of flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and 1 cup of cottage cheese. This is only my second time baking these bagels, and I'm already obsessed. This is another batch that I'm doing because I ran out. I also added some salt to that, and then I mixed it all up. It's actually better to just use your hands, to be honest, and it'll get very sticky and messy. Then you form the dough into a bagel and you dip it into the egg wash and place it on the baking pan. The first time I made this, I made 3 bagels, so I decided to make 4 with the same recipe. I didn't add anything to the egg wash, it's just plain, but then after I place all of the bagels on the baking pan, I take some garlic and mince it with this little crusher, and then I sprinkle it all over the bagels. I didn't have any everything but the bagel seasoning, but I wish I did because I would have loved to add that and sprinkle it on top. But I will be buying it soon because I do want to continue making these bagels. Like I said, I'm obsessed with them. So while they were in the oven for 25 minutes at 375 degrees, I also prepared some egg and the avocado to go on top for my avocado bagel. This has just been my hyperfixation meal. I also added some red onion, but you can't really see it, but it was so delicious. Now I'm just applying a lip combo before I head to my office. I've really been into brown nude lips, so that's what we're going for today. Once I head to the office, I immediately start prepping for lecture, so I usually work on my lecture outline and these slides. Also, what the heck, I didn't realize this is how I look when I'm working and I'm in the zone because my eyes are just like bugging out. Like, I don't know why I'm opening my eyes so wide. I've also noticed, like I've known this for so long, but I usually purse my lips when I'm really concentrated. So you might see some of that action in these clips. But anywho, back to the tasks. So I just prep for lecture, and I also like to grade their weekly memos right before class so I know where they're at when it comes to the readings and what kind of discussion questions they posed. And then after grading all of that, I like to update the grade book so that they can see their grades before class starts. I also went to print out the roster, which I use for attendance and for grading their participation. And I printed out the article that was assigned today, and I also grabbed the book that was assigned for today as well. This is my cute little desk. I am in a shared office space, so this is what I have on my desk. There's just a lot of things on my desk because I left to study abroad for the past school year, so that's why my desk looks livelier than usual, but I'm definitely going to just leave it here so I don't have to keep moving things back and forth. I also like to leave a few emergency things like lip balm, perfume. In this little pouch, I have a bunch of things like band-aids, what else? Q-tips, just anything that I might need. I do also carry that in my purse already, but just in case, I like to have a few emergency items in my office. I also have tons of folders and notebooks and things like that. These prints used to be in my apartment wall, but since I moved out, like I said, I decided to just put them here in my desk area for school and work. Someone left this corkboard here, so I decided to utilize it by adding some prints. I love this quote, "I don't chase, I attract." And then I also added this car freshener, but the scent is completely gone now. I don't know if you noticed, but on my actual desk is my vision board from last year, 2024. Then up here, I keep all the books that I use to teach my course. Most of these are assigned in the syllabus, but there's also a handful of books that I just have to supplement the lectures, the discussions, things like that. Then I keep other things here like tissues, post-it notes, food. I also have things like tea bags, emergency, just in case, Tylenol. I have a mug in here for my tea. And what else? I have like snacks and wipes. And in that little Ziploc bag, it's actually souvenirs from the Philippines that I've been meaning to give some of my advisors who wrote my letters of rec. So I haven't bumped into them yet, so I want to hand it to them. I also have candies and cough drops, but I used to have a ton of food here, like microwavable things like ramen noodles, mac and cheese, chips, but I decided to replace that with my books and just pack food from home. I also did leave a lot of books here. I basically used my office as a storage place, so that's why I ended up just leaving the books in my office. This is me post-class. I teach twice a week for an hour and 15 minutes each. So after class, what I like to do immediately is to update the grade book with their attendance and participation. I just ask students to participate at least once a day for lecture, and I just write their names down and then add it to their participation grades in the grade book. Also, I love using this clipboard. It just makes me feel all official. But yeah, this is what I use for their attendance and then also when I mark down the participation. This is only week 2, so I'm still learning their names, but I feel a lot more confident this week compared to the first week. Another thing I also like to do right after class is upload the lecture slides. I used to upload it before class, but I feel like it really takes away from the element of surprise, and I really want them to be able to look at it after as a supplement, and in class they're able to just take notes on their notebook. I've taught this course before, but I've made a lot of changes this time around. I basically transformed the entire syllabus, and when it comes to the course schedule and the readings, I did change a lot of it as well. For the most part, I do really like this system so far, and I'm really glad I made those necessary changes. I also wanted to say that I usually have some students who stay after class and ask me a bunch of questions or just talk, and it's really nice to see them very engaged and to see them wanting to learn. So, the past couple of days, I've been getting around 10 students, and today it was only about 4 students, so it went down a lot. But I know the weekend is right around the corner, so I'm sure they're eager. And I know some other students also have classes after this class. Then I headed back up to my office. I wanted to grab a few books that are assigned for next week. At this point, I need a snack, so I packed a peach, and I have just been loving how juicy these peaches are. I also filmed a TikTok about my course reading list, basically everything that I make my students read. So that is up on my TikTok at Truly Jules with 2 Ys because it was highly requested. So if you're interested in what I assign for my class, you can check it out there.
In your maps?
Mm-hmm.
When I was there. Okay.
Their tasting menu, I think, that I wanted to try.
Did you eat it? Oh, but you didn't.
No, I didn't.
We're going to the Philippines.
I know, I can't believe.
Wasted our time.
Once I got home, I ate leftovers. I had made that viral Turkish pasta, and I was also talking to my sister on the phone, and now I'm getting ready for the gym. My workout routine is super easy and minimal, but I like using small weights and lifting light and just walking on the treadmill for like an hour. While I'm on the treadmill, I like to habit stack, so I'm usually working on lecture outlines or slides or looking over readings. Now it's time to clean the kitchen since we baked some bagels earlier, so I'm just taking out the dishes from the dishwasher and then also washing the dishes that I used earlier. I think washing dishes is very therapeutic, but only when it's dishes that I've used. Like if I'm washing other people's dishes, it doesn't feel that way. I don't know what the psychology is behind that, but that is how I feel. I have to do the dishes and clean my space before I go to sleep because I simply will just stay up tossing and turning if my environment and apartment is untidy. Time for a shower, so I remove my makeup with this cleansing butter that I love from the Philippines. Here are my shower products, so I use the And Honey shampoo and conditioner, CosRX face wash, and Dove soap. And then after my shower, I use this body butter from Trader Joe's. It smells so good, and then I will do my skincare routine. This is everything that I use on my face at night. I'm really trying to avoid scrolling before bed, so I'm just reading a chapter that I assigned for my class, and then also my gratitude journal. I do this every night. I write 5 things that I'm grateful for, usually stuff that I did throughout the day. I've been doing this since 2021, so this is a 5-year journal, so I'm able to look back at what I wrote down for the past few years. And this is the last year that I'm doing it in this particular notebook, but I have purchased a new 5-year diary. So that was my day in the life as a college professor. Bye!